We're live, and it's time for another hangout, another live stream here on Patreon. The topic for today's hangout is Thailand, Costa Rica, Cairns, and La Palma. Pros and cons for the fruit traveler, because as you probably know, we've traveled a fair bit over the last few years, and these are some of the main locations that we've been to.
Kind of found that they are the best for fruit.
Well, I mean, there's lots of other locations that also are the best, probably, but those are the locations that we've been.
Yeah, sure.
That are the best locations of the different places we've been. And so we want to share a little bit about those places, pros and cons, good things, bad things, and whatever. So that's the topic. If you're watching the recording of this, which is gonna be in a few weeks on YouTube, then you can know that you can join live on the next one by going to patreon.com. And signing up there. So right now we're live on Patreon, and we got Terry saying afternoon, guys, in the chat. Hey, Terry.
Good afternoon.
How's your day going?
Ours is going very well anyway. I just finished up my work in the house for today, painting a room, as always.
Yeah, and I just finished a coaching session. And I've been editing some videos, and I've been for a long walk today, as opposed to usually, which I go for a run. But today I went for a walk. If anyone is in the chat, if anyone is there, you can always say hello in the chat. Leave us some comments, and we'll be sure to be happy about. We'll be super happy about that. Jenny says, "Hey guys, happy hangout day. Been looking forward to this all month."
Good to hear.
So glad to hear that, Jenny. Glad that you made it. Yeah, so I guess we'll give it a couple more minutes before we start on the topic, I guess. What can we talk about for 2 minutes? Terry.
Bananas. He's been shopping bananas, Terry. So have we. We're on a bit of we're having a little bit too much ripe bananas at the moment.
Did you bring the bananas up, by the way?
No.
We should do that.
Yeah,
we have some bananas down in the other house because it's a little bit colder there. And then we have the rest of our bananas in here. And so we separate them by different zones. Some of them stay cool, some of them a little bit warmer, depending on how we want to ripen them.
Quick tip, by the way. Remember that there is a big difference between the top of the room and the bottom of the room, like roof and floor, in terms of temperature. So if you want to ripen your bananas fast, put them high up, or vice versa.
And if you want to slow them down, you put them down. Jenny, I'm shopping for my first pair of Ultras. Cool. Which model are you looking at? Or do you know which model you want? Or Ultra shoes, they're the best. By the way, I recommend, in terms of size, it's always best to go to a shoe store and actually try on the shoe to see whether or not it fits. But for me, I needed to go up in size in the Ultras. So basically, they're a little small in their size, I think. That's what it would be. Like, I actually, normally I use like 45, 46. But with Ultras, I have as much as like 47 in one of them, I think. So you might need to go up a size. Superior 3.0, nice. I have Superior 2.0, and I hear good things about the number 3. So I can hike with them too. Yeah, that's a good idea. Cool.
Let's get into it.
Yeah.
We picked out these 4 locations because they are the ones we always talk of between ourselves, of which ones are really actually good locations we would go back to, in terms of fruit and just general ease of travel and stuff like that. We've been to several places, but many we haven't liked at all, and some we've come back to several times.
Yeah. Our first experience with fruit was Thailand. And then our second experience was La Palma, Canary Islands. And then our third experience was Cairns, Australia. And then our fourth experience was Costa Rica. And then after that, we've been going back to Thailand a few times, and La Palma and Cairns, but not Costa Rica yet. they're all good locations, and they're all famous for their fruit. If you think about it, Costa Rica. I mean, just the name Costa Rica. It's sort of, you kind of feel like it's a rich, fertile land, and it's true. They're very famous for their fruit. Thailand, obviously, famous for their fruit.
Yeah,
especially durian and mangosteen and rambutans and mangoes, everything. Cairns is more of a obscure place. Not that many people know that Cairns, Australia, is such a good place for fruit, but fruit fanatics tend to know about it.
And we've been spreading the word.
Yeah,
we always keep talking about Cairns to other people.
And then La Palma in the Canary Islands, that's also a place that's pretty, somewhat known, at least in Europe, for its bananas especially, and papayas. So they're all fruity locations in general, but of course we've been to them and really, looked for the best of the best fruit. And so we have some thoughts and ideas we thought we'd share today about pros and cons of these different locations, both just in terms of fruit, but also in terms of just as a travel destination in general. So Jenny and Terry and anyone else in the chat, feel free to ask us questions, as usual, at any time. You just come with a question or a comment or whatever, and we'll answer it.
Jenny says that she was planning her first big trip this fall, but pushed it out to early next year. I really want it to be Costa Rica. Yeah, it's definitely a good place to go to. We can talk about Costa Rica first.
Should we do that? Yeah.
Well,
I guess so.
I guess, what is the the best thing about Costa Rica for fruit?
Fruit-wise, Costa Rica, if I was to define it in like one word, I would say quality.
Yeah, quality mixed with consistency.
Yeah, as opposed to somewhere like Thailand, which we'll get into, where the word is more like abundance, right? Thailand has abundance, and there's, bear in mind that all these different locations, they have quality, they have abundance, they have good prices. Like all the different things about fruit that's good is present in all these locations. But Costa Rica, especially when we were there, the mangoes that we were having there, the papayas, they had, and the bananas, they had such a rich, deep taste.
Yeah, I would say our diet has never been better than those 2-3 months in Costa Rica when we were staying at the farm there.
Yeah, that's like the healthiest I've ever been. Almost,
insanely consistent and really the best quality I've ever had on a consistent basis.
Yeah,
not necessarily the best papayas or the best mangoes I've ever had. That might be other locations, but we would always have good fruit there.
Yeah, it was really good. Further reading. Hey guys, ciao everyone. What will the fruit situation be in Thailand in September, October? I'll answer that question for you quickly, but then we'll get into the details of that later. I don't know if you're going to stay with us for the whole presentation, or if you're leaving, but just so I answered your question. September, October, it's at the end of the durian season.
Very end.
Yeah. I think it'll be it's always decent in Thailand, but it's not the best time of the year. We'll get into the details of that. Okay, go on. Cool. Terry also says, I went to Thailand for the first time 13 years ago, and the mangoes and jackfruits are amazing. That's true. Yeah. Right, so back to Costa Rica. We're going through different locations one by one, pros and cons.
Yeah.
So,
I was going to say that there, we should say caveat about Costa Rica, and that is that we were basically only in the San Isidro area, southwestish of Costa Rica, which is known for extremely good farmers market and stuff like that. When we were in San Jose, which is the capital, which we landed in with a flight, we had real trouble finding fruit.
Until we found the place that had a lot of it, of course. Then we found it was easy. When we found the market.
In San Jose?
Oh, no, I was thinking Alajuela now. Where, there was lots of fruit at the market, don't remember?
But that was terrible. Absolutely
no, we had
terrible.
good fruit.
I remember it as one of the worst places I've been.
I remember it as a very good place, but whatever. Maybe one of us remembers wrongly. But yeah, Jenny says that a farmer's market in Costa Rica was one of the first video she saw. Yeah, it's epic at that market. So a lot of good quality fruit. And the prices were, just like each of these places actually, except La Palma maybe. The prices in Costa Rica were just as cheap as Thailand. Like
cheaper.
Even cheaper, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
It was more, and a pro about Costa Rica is that it's more of a direct, you have a more, at least I felt like there was a better connection with the sellers. Like I could, I understood the language more, the culture, that makes a big difference as opposed to Thailand. But I also felt like the culture there was all about, the farmer is there at the market selling. They're proud of their produce. They're talking to you. They give you samples. They want to communicate with you. Whereas in Thailand, for example, they don't want to communicate with you. It's more of just like a industrial kind of big thing. It's just lots of turnover and it's more like less personal. So that's a pro for Costa Rica and a con for Thailand. Okay, Paolo. Yeah, I know you, of course. I didn't know your name was further reading there, so it's your YouTube name. Okay. What about durian worldwide from September on? I'll travel to Southeast Asia from September for some months. Feel free to answer it later. Yeah, we'll get into the durian season a little later. But glad you cleared up who you were. I wasn't sure who further reading was.
That might be the best, like the biggest pro for Costa Rica.
Yeah.
But the biggest con for me, I think, is going to be the travel distance for, or the difficulty getting there for us in Europe. For us to get there, we basically have to take a flight to New York,
or Miami.
Yeah. Where we have to go through customs and all this in America, USA rules, difficult stuff, costs money and things like that.
Yeah, it's a big deal. And then it's going to be a night flight, and we'll have to stay there. And then once you get to Costa Rica, we have to take a bus to go to San Isidro. It takes like 5 hours.
Yeah,
it's a bit of an ordeal.
You have to get into Costa Rica. You have to have an onward ticket, either by bus or flight. So we had to make a refundable ticket on a website, and then when we got into Costa Rica, we would refund it. So that was a lot of hassle if you didn't want to, get a ticket beforehand.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a hassle to get there, but for Americans, it's so easy. I don't know. I kind of think that it is easy just to go straight down to Costa Rica. It's even not too far away in terms of time zones and stuff. So it's pretty safe in Costa Rica compared to other places in the world, and South America especially. It's a pretty safe place. And I found that the nature there was pretty clean. Like people were living, pretty clean. There wasn't too much garbage, whereas in Thailand there's a lot of garbage. So I felt like it was a pure place. Like Costa Rica was pure.
Care of it.
Yeah, clean is also a name we could use for Costa Rica. Just clean fruit, clean people, clean nature.
Yeah,
the fruit was just, it was so clean and fresh and quality. So that's
Another good thing about Costa Rica, the area we were in, was that there was lots of Americans there. And obviously we can connect easier with Americans than Costa Ricans.
So that was a pro.
Yeah.
That was a big pro. Like there's a community there. You go to Costa Rica, it's full of fruit eaters, and people have went down there and, semi-settle down, and have a farm, and they grow stuff, and they do permaculture, and there's community activities. And like we felt like you know, at least in this area where we went in Tinamastes, Costa Rica, there was this, you know, awesome community. So if you're going to Costa Rica, and Jenny, if you're going there, when you're going there, I recommend, you know, for meeting people and connecting and finding a place to go or stay or whatever, I think the best hotspot would be the organic market every Tuesday morning in Tinamastes. So on the road from San Isidro to Dominical, you pass through Tinamastes, and there's a little place there next to the road where they have a farmers market every Tuesday morning, and there's lots of people, American and Costa Ricans and other people. That's a good place to sort of mingle and talk to people.
Yeah.
And the best place to get fruit is in San Isidro at the farmers market every Thursday morning. Jenny asks if Costa Rica is better for sports. Do you think, if you mean like running and stuff, I would say it's pretty similar to Thailand.
No, Thailand is easier. There's less, I mean, Thailand is flatter. It's pretty harsh environment to run in, and it's just going to be the road.
Well, I mean, it's not the road. It's extremely great for running in terms of there's just like lots of long dirt roads to run on.
But it was, for us, it was only up or down.
Yeah, but miles of dirt road. I mean, you don't have to run on the road.
Miles of up or down.
Yeah, but you said you just have to run on the road. Where in Thailand, you have to run on the road. In Thailand, you actually run in the road. Whereas in Costa Rica, you can run on these awesome trails or like at least dirt roads, but it's a lot of vertical, of course. But that's true in Thailand too, depending on where you are.
Yeah.
And then in Thailand, there's a lot of dogs. In Costa Rica, there wasn't as many dogs, but still quite a few.
Thailand's probably better for biking.
Yeah, Thailand's definitely better for biking. But then again, remember, bear in mind, we're still talking just about this small little area around San Isidro, you know, Tinamastes, because that's all we know. That's all we went to see. So should we move on then?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to travel to both if you want to, you know, get the... Well, you'll do that one day anyway. So starting with Costa Rica is a good place to start. How many times more expensive is Costa Rica compared to Thailand? Paolo is asking. And no, it's not expensive.
It's going to be cheaper than Thailand.
Yeah.
For us, it was anyway. I mean, the food there was insanely cheap.
Yeah.
Insanely cheap. But yeah.
At the farmers market, it was just super cheap. And you can find cheap houses there. I would say, if anything, let's just say they're the same. You know, they're the same. But either place, you can end up getting it cheaper or a little bit more expensive. But if anything, Costa Rica was almost cheaper.
So, Thailand. What's the biggest pro?
Biggest pro about Thailand?
I guess we've already kind of mentioned it, and it's the fact that it's the culture there is like samlebånd. It's like everything goes on rails in a way. Everything is just mass produced, and everyone will have papayas. Everyone will have mangoes. There will be
abundance, basically. Yeah. There's like there's no place on earth with more fruit than Thailand. It's just in that sense, it's paradise for fruit eaters, because it's just you just
can't fail.
It's just insane how much fruit there is in Thailand. Like, it's absolutely everywhere in piles. And then I mean literally piles. Like, you can literally see a ton of durian at the market. Several places, or mangosteen or whatever.
You don't need to even be told where to go in Thailand. You can just go to Thailand. You'll be safe. Go anywhere, and you'll have a good fruit experience. There'll be hostels everywhere as well. Yeah.
And of course, another pro about Thailand is just durian. You can get durian in Costa Rica as well. And I think the season is around now.
Possibly.
Like, I think they have durian around this time in Costa Rica. But it's going to be uncultivated durian. You know, it's more like just wild, like grown from seed. So every durian is random. And it's not necessarily that much flesh and to seed and stuff. Whereas in Thailand, you have highly cultivated, known varieties that have a lot of flesh on them and have distinct tastes and stuff. So, durian is a pro for Thailand, and the abundance of fruit.
Yeah, it's a good place for a beginner. I would say like the beginner traveler should always go to Thailand first, because it's just,
well, I don't know. I'd say also, you could go to, if you go to Costa Rica and you go to San Isidro market, you can be a beginner still.
You'll be all right, but your chances of easing into traveling is going to be easy. It's going to be easier in Thailand on all accounts. You'll never situation in Thailand, really.
True, but then again, I don't see necessarily why I would get in a difficult situation in Costa Rica either. I mean, I feel like if I was in America, like for Americans, I would encourage them to go to Costa Rica rather than Thailand first.
All right.
Because it's just closer, it's easier rather than going halfway around the world, and it's naturally and I guess that's another pro about Costa Rica. It's very close culturally to at least our European and American culture. We sort of connect more. We have a closer, like our past is more intertwined. Whereas when you go to Thailand, it could be looked upon as a pro and a con. Thailand is so different. The culture is completely different.
Yeah.
So when you go to Thailand, you experience something completely new, and that could be a pro, but it could also be a con. And over time, we've come to feel like it's a big con. We feel when we're in Thailand, it's just such a different culture. We feel so foreign and alien there, and it's it's difficult to communicate and that sort of thing.
On the other side, you have a lot of fruit community in Thailand as well. There's always going to be Westerners obsessed with fruit in the main locations like Chanthaburi or Koh Phangan or Payam Samui. Sorry, Koh Samui.
Yeah. And Chiang Mai, of course.
Chiang Mai.
But you can see there's a kind of different type of culture though, because in Thailand you'll meet a lot of fruitarian travelers. Everyone you meet there almost are traveling.
Yeah. They have a normal life
somewhere else
in
and then they're in Thailand traveling for fruit, which is awesome. But when you go to Costa Rica, you'll meet Americans and Europeans and people that are actually living there eating a lot of fruit. Like it's actually more of a established community of foreigners. And where would you go fruit-wisely to avoid the rainy season from November on? I am planning about staying in Thailand from September to the rainy season and move somewhere else in Southeast Asia. The rainy season in Thailand depends on where you are. Let's talk a little bit about the seasons then. Rain season, I think, starts... When is it again? Isn't it in like June? May, June? I think it's starting now, and then that's like in central Thailand, eastern Thailand. I think the rainy season starts about June and lasts until like October, November. I'm not sure though. You have to research it. I'm not sure.
The best tip would be to get Lindsay's Year of the Durians travel guide to durian.
Lindsay from the blog Year of the Durian has written a book which is called the Tourist Guide, like Durian Tourist Guide to Thailand. You can find it on our website at sweetnaturalliving.com. If you buy that, you can learn a little bit probably about the rainy season and also the durian season. She's written a lot about when to find durian, where to find durian in Norway. Okay, yeah, you bought the book, still have to read it, yeah. So they told me in Koh Phangan it will start about November. Yeah, that sounds about right. I think it's in Koh Phangan, you're in the south, and everything is happening a few months later. So the durian season there starts about now, and lasts for a couple of months until October. I think we feel like we had the last durian on Koh Phangan when we were there once, and that was mid-October.
Yeah, it was.
So after October, you don't really find that much durian on Koh Phangan. When we were there in January, February, and March, we didn't find much durian at all. No. They had some, but it was super expensive and low quality. So not much durian at that time, but we had good papayas and fairly good mangoes at times in January, February. Well, let's talk further about pros and cons of Thailand.
There are, sadly for us, a lot of cons about Thailand. The truth is, there are very many things that we are insanely fed up about with Thailand, namely stuff like noise, pollution, cars, not being able to communicate with people, being treated as a foreigner always. Also,
and well, yes,
for us, there's only fruit. That's the thing you do in Thailand. If you're excited about fruit and fruit hunting, definitely go to Thailand. But if you're over that kind of hump of super excitement about that stuff, for us it's like we go there and we go to the market and we eat a really good fruit, and then when we're done with the meal, it's like, okay, what do we do now? Well, we sit in our hotel room.
Yeah, and there's nothing like, I don't know. We just feel so foreign there. We don't feel connected to the community and stuff, and they don't have a culture of like enjoying life in the same way that we do in the West. Like everyone's just working, and it's just chaos and motorbikes everywhere. And I feel like if you want to take a walk through town, that's not going to be a pleasant experience.
Wow.
And there's nothing to sort of, and you end up sitting at the sidewalk, like on the ground, eating fruit with like dogs around and crazy traffic in front of you and people staring at you, and it's kind of like a stressful experience. Oh, Diane, hey. Another plus about going to Spanish-speaking countries is that in general, people are very kind about attempts to speak their language, even if you don't speak it well. How's that aspect in Thailand? Yeah, that's a good point. In Thailand, it's what?
Well, I was going to say that, in Thailand, they get really excited if you try to speak their language, and they accept it.
Some people do, but not many. Actually,
not many.
I would say that in most everyday situations, any attempt to communicate is not recognized at all. They don't look at you even. It's just like they just yes. If they're just like they just answer you in a sort of wholesale way, standard way, and you're trying to communicate, but they're not even looking at you. But then that's maybe 50% of the time, and then the other 50% of the time, they actually, if they do recognize you, sort of, and they hear you're trying to speak Thai, they get, as you said, very happy. So it's true when you're trying, most people react positively to that if they notice you at all. But in Thailand, it's, as I said, it's so much chaos at the market and stuff.
Yeah,
there's no personal connection.
Terry says that it's because foreigners go there only for one thing, and it's not fruit. Yeah, that's probably true in most areas, but
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. People come to Thailand for all kinds of reasons, and they're generally, mostly, it has to do with tropical climate. I mean, people come there to be in the warm climate and go to the beach and see the islands and stuff. But whatever the reason for people coming there, including coming there just for fruit, we are tourists there, and it's a very different culture. So it's only natural that they react in a way where it becomes this strange relationship between the tourist and the Thai people.
Yeah.
Whereas in Costa Rica, it's more integrated.
Yeah. You don't feel that much of a foreigner.
No. They told me Nam Dok Mai season has just finished. Yes.
Yeah, it kind of has.
Depends on where you are. Again, I mean, because it's confusing, because you can get Nam Dok Mai year round in Thailand. So from somewhere, it will always be Nam Dok Mai produced, and you can sort of get it anywhere. So it's not easy to sort of say this is how the seasons are in Thailand and this is how they are, because it depends very much on your location and exactly what you'll be able to get and stuff.
I think the main touristy areas will always have Nam Dok Mai, like on Koh Phangan or something like that, because they import from anywhere. If you're going to more rural places, even like Chantaburi, they are just going to have almost only local Nam Dok Mai or local mangoes in general. And when it's not season, there's not going to be much around. There's going to be mangoes, but not that amazing ones.
Is Thailand cheaper than Costa Rica, or are they about the same? No, they're definitely about the same. If anything, Costa Rica was cheaper.
Yeah.
But I bet if you did an average, Thailand would come out cheaper overall. But if you know where to buy the fruit in Costa Rica and you know where to go, you can get cheaper prices. But then that's not so true for Thailand. As we said, Thailand is everything is very standardized.
Yeah.
You get the same mango everywhere. You get the same type of papaya everywhere. The prices are almost always the same. So that's both, you could see it as a pro, but also a con. Which country has the best bananas? Costa Rica. Costa Rica has the best bananas I have ever tried. So many varieties.
Yeah.
Grown locally on the farm that we were at.
However, it's a good segue to the other ones, because we need to talk about those as well.
Yeah.
La Palma is an island in the Canary Islands, out of the coast of Morocco. It's not, well, I guess it's technically Africa.
It's geographically it's Africa, but I mean it's part
Spanish.
of Europe.
It's Spanish. Very cool place. We went there. We've been there many times, 5 times or something.
Yeah. Pros would be
really good bananas.
Really good bananas. That's
some of the best ones I've ever had. I personally enjoy them even more than many others.
Yeah. Other pro would be that it's close to Europe. So for Europeans, it's very close. Yes, it does look beautiful, Jenny.
Yeah,
it's very beautiful. It's
people go there for hiking, and just there's Germans everywhere. They walk all around the island and go on mountain bike rides as well. Easy to get around.
What else?
Well, it's the same as Costa Rica. It's going to have Spanish language, which is going to be easier for most people to understand. It's not Asian,
and it's closer culturally to what we're used to. So it's similar to Costa Rica in that sense. We feel more at home there.
Yeah,
and we can go there without a visa. Actually, that's a pro for us.
Yeah,
because it's part of
Europeans. Actually,
yeah, for Europeans, it's part of the European Union, obviously. And Norway is not, but it's part of there's all these kind of agreements and stuff. So there's this agreement that makes it so that we can go there without a visa. Yeah. We can just stay there.
Yeah.
And that's great. Jenny says she's a serious walking girl. That's great because La Palma is a serious island. I mean,
you'll get strong. It's
possibly the steepest place on earth. It's like seriously. Possibly the steepest place on earth.
What are you going to say, Seriøst?
Yeah.
That's the Norwegian for...
I almost spoke Norwegian there. But, it's crazy steep. And,
The soil there is volcanic, making it so, possibly, that I would say La Palma actually has the most the best fruit I've ever had has been on La Palma. That does not mean it's tons of fruit there. It does not mean that it's of lots of amazing quality. But there have been instances of me having the best fruit ever there, especially for avocados and cherimoyas.
Yeah. I can't say I have the best fruit there. I mean, I've had better bananas in Costa Rica and I have better mangoes in Thailand and in Cairns. But yeah, in terms of cherimoyas, it's been the best, and avocados definitely. And the other fruit is quite good, but
papayas, especially the ones from Tenerife, which is another island, is insanely good.
Is La Palma the place where you ended up super cold in the mountain? I remember referring in one of your books. Yeah, that is the place. That's definitely the place because, and then he says, I remember seeing you guys on the black sand beach. Also La Palma. It's basically like this, which is a con, I guess, for La Palma. It is pretty cold in the winter if you're high up. So if you're up in the mountain a little bit, where we were at one point, that's where that can get pretty cold.
Yeah.
But down at sea level, it's much warmer.
And that's a pro, because La Palma and the Canary Islands in general are known for its stable climate. It's almost always going to be like a maximum 28 degrees and minimum 18 degrees. And it's always going to be like, I think they call it the land of eternal spring or something.
Yeah. Never too cold, never too warm. Unless, of course, you're up on the mountain and it's raining and it's 6 degrees. That would be pretty...
And you're living in a tent.
Yeah, that's pretty miserable. There's a picture that comes to mind of Mads very not happy about the rain when we were like camping. Yeah, cherimoyas, man, they're so good. And the cherimoyas on La Palma are so good. So fruit season wise, the best time to go to La Palma is July to December. Mango season peaks in October. Cherimoya season peaks in November, December. And bananas are year-round, avocados year-round, papayas, you can find them year-round, but they're actually most abundant and best during the summer, autumn.
Same goes with bananas, actually.
Yeah, they are better in the summer, probably. Yeah. What's the con for La Palma? It's difficult to access. Like, this island is so steep that it's very difficult logistically speaking. If you don't have a car, you have to pretty much live in town, because if you're living outside of town, it gets it's a huge ordeal to go up or down. Like either way, you have to go up at one point.
Yeah, and especially if you're on a bicycle. I mean, we started there bicycling around, but it's very harsh. I mean, you don't really go for bike rides.
Yeah.
And if you do, it's just going to be a small circle down in the Los Llanos area.
And if you want to go for a walk, you're going to end up walking down so far and then back the same way that it turns out to be like a crazy workout because it's so steep again. So you're a little bit like kind of stuck. It's a little bit difficult to get around, and but if you have a car, then it makes it easier. But even if you're living up in the north where it's more beautiful nature-wise, it takes like 1 hour with a car to go to town to buy your fruit. And another con would be that it's not that abundant, the fruit. If you really know where to look and when to go and what to look for and who to ask, you can find some really good stuff, but you have to work for it. It's like a treasure hunt, as opposed to Thailand, where it's just like you cannot not find fruit. It's impossible not to find it. You go outdoor and there's fruit on the street. There's fruit everywhere in town.
Let's talk about Cairns.
Yeah.
How do we find out about Cairns?
I heard about it through a video on YouTube. I think Robert Lockhart was talking about Cairns as being a fruitarian paradise, and we were
as well.
Yeah, no, well maybe, but I didn't hear about that. But I heard Robert Lockhart talk about it, and we were in Thailand feeling frustrated. I think we were just like fed up with Thailand, and we wanted to go somewhere new. And we were like, what if we go to Australia? Cairns seems to be this awesome place with lots of fruit.
It's in the upmost north of Australia, northeast.
Far north Queensland.
And it's tropical, actually. It's hot. There's rainy seasons. There's everything normal tropical land. But it is Western style country.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going there, Paolo, if you're going to Southeast Asia and you get to a point where you feel like you want to experience something else in the neighborhood, you could, pop down to Cairns. That would be a good change of vibe. And the biggest pro about Cairns as a fruit destination is variety.
Yeah.
Variety of tropical fruit. Like if you go to Cairns at the right time, which would, I guess, be ideally from November through April.
Yeah.
So the winter half for us in the Northern Hemisphere. If you go there, you'll try more fruits than you've ever heard of. Like there's everything.
There's a new mango in season every week. I could literally name 20 mango varieties which you can get in Cairns.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Literally, it was like that for us when we came there from December onwards. Every 2 weeks there was, or even every week almost, there was a new variety of mango.
Yeah.
And then that lasted for a couple of weekends.
Mm-hmm.
Then that mango faded out and there was a new one. Mm-hmm. And we got to try all these varieties and it was incredible.
There's papayas, there's Rusty's Market, as Jenny talked about.
It is a destination in itself.
It's basically where you will get most, if not all, of your fruit if you're living in the Cairns area.
Yeah, that's actually brings us to a con about Cairns, mm-hmm. which is that it's actually quite difficult to find fruit in Cairns, except for those particular locations. Yeah. Like Rusty's Markets, that's where you get all your fruit. Yeah. That's the best place. But then in the weekdays when Rusty's Market is closed, mm-hmm. finding fruit is more difficult. Yeah. You'll have to resort to some supermarket shopping, and there's a few stalls around town here and there, but they don't always have quality stuff. And we've been on the hunt. We have a video where we're hunting for sugar or something it's called, on YouTube, and we couldn't find anything.
Jenny asks if it was Cairns where we found that jackfruit tree by the river.
That is Cairns.
Yes, there's a lot of jackfruits, and there's crunchy ones and soft ones, and they are insane. I mean, we've had some jackfruits. They are just
talking about it now. I'm just like, oh my god, we have to go there. There's so much good fruit in Cairns, and the variety is epic. You'll get to try the most amazing tropical stuff. There's durian there. There's champion, there's jackfruit, cherimoyas. There's all kinds of tropical strange fruits that you didn't know about. Yeah. Avocados, really good avocados. Yeah. Some of the best avocados, actually. Mm-hmm. Costa Rica also had some seriously good avocados.
Had a good stash going there.
Wow. As we've said, generally all these different 4 places have good quality fruit, really good, and stuff. But they vary a little bit in terms of availability and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Prices.
What about prices? Life cost living in Cairns. Well, in Cairns, it's expensive, generally speaking. Again, fruit-wise, it's not. Fruit-wise, you can get it as cheap as Thailand almost.
On Rusty's Market.
At Rusty's Market only. But if you buy elsewhere, it's more expensive. And even at Rusty's Market, it can be difficult to find that you'll spend a little bit more on fruit than you will of any of the other locations.
Mm-hmm. In terms of living, it depends on how you live. It's not too bad. How much did we pay for?
I mean, if you're renting a place long term, like a month or something like that, then you can. It's not too bad, but it's still crazy expensive compared to Thailand.
Yeah, sure.
It is the most expensive.
It's not going to be like Sydney.
No, Sydney is double again. But yeah, it's pretty. It's not cheap. And if you're living in a hotel, it's super expensive.
But it's going to be like going to La Palma, maybe in Europe. Going to any European country, it's going to be kind of like that. Probably a little bit cheaper.
Yeah, unless you can find yourself like some place to go woofing, like we did.
Yeah,
where you're living for free. But we lived in pretty poor conditions when we were there. But it was kind of fun. I mean, it was an interesting good experience, good journey.
Albeit somewhat traumatic.
Somewhat traumatic too. We ate a lot of fruit though. I mean, it's
insane.
Again, like if we were to sort of sum up a little bit just at the end here, all these different locations, I would say, with the exception of La Palma, I would say that Costa Rica, Thailand, and Cairns are 3 places where any serious fruit fanatic need to visit.
Yeah.
La Palma, the reason I exclude it is because La Palma is nothing. It's not like it's super special or anything like that, but it's a good place for Europeans. And if you're interested, it's a beautiful place for anyone. But for Europeans, it's just so close, so convenient, and it's pretty good when it comes to fruit. But taking that out of the equation, you gotta go to Thailand at one point because the abundance of fruit is insane, and the durian is amazing.
But
you got to go to Costa Rica at one point because the quality of fruit there is amazing and nature is so amazing. Mm-hmm. And you got to go to Cairns at one point because the variety is so amazing. So you have like abundance, quality, and variety. Those three things are the different, key words for those locations. What were you saying?
I was going to say what you were going to say, but you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions at the end? If you have any, because you're, some of you guys are traveling to these locations soon, you might have some particular questions. Feel free to ask us.
A really good thing for us about Cairns was the fact that after being in Thailand for so long, it felt amazing just to be able to go to a library, being able to go to the gym easily, taking buses, everything was
Speaking
high
English.
Quality. Speaking English.
Sidewalks.
Yeah.
There's sidewalks in Cairns. It's a Western type modern society, whereas in Thailand, I just go crazy for having to walk in the road.
Yeah.
Crazy traffic. No one follows the traffic rules. It's just they just make up their own crazy rules, and just generally not being able to communicate. Coming to Cairns, it was just like, oh, I can speak English. Jenny, I just really want to go. Yeah, well, I'm sure you're gonna have an epic time in Costa Rica. It is so good, and mango season in Costa Rica already starts a little bit in January. But already from February, you can get really good mangoes, and March, it's starting to peak. And when it comes to Thailand, year-round is pretty good, but probably... Now, Thailand just has so much fruit that there's no point in saying anything other than year-round. But if you want durian, you probably have to go there between April and October. CA Hall, would love to go to Thailand. I'm still heavy. How much would I stick out there? What does that mean?
Heavy, maybe in terms of size.
Yeah, but what does it mean to stick out?
Oh, there's that kind of person. I don't know.
Stick out like that. How would you stick out?
Not at all.
Not at all.
I think. Durian Rider has given the kind of impression that everyone's skinny in Thailand. That is far from truth.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of people of all sizes.
Yeah, and again, one thing that's a pro about Thailand is that it is indeed a very sort of accepting, open, in a strange way. It's very loving.
Yeah.
I mean, you come there, you look any way you want, people are going to deal with you the same way anyway. Because for Thai people, we're all foreigners. We're all strange. We come to their country and they look at us like that, but in a good way. Like they're just they're curious and they think we're strange and we have strange habits, and we're looking at them thinking they're strange and they have strange habits. And whether you're skinny or fat or
don't need to worry at all.
Black or white, it doesn't matter.
In fact, it's a pro we haven't talked about quickly. Thailand is probably the safest place on earth. You can go there and you can leave your freaking laptop in the street of Bangkok and no one's going to take it.
Yeah.
You're not going to be harassed by people. You're not going to need to be afraid of being raped if you're a girl. You don't need to... I mean, it's so safe. I feel completely relaxed there on top of everything.
Yeah, safe and respected.
Yeah.
You are respected by every person. They show a lot of respect. So, Thailand is a good location for anyone.
Yeah,
nothing to worry about there. You'll feel perfectly fitting in. I think that's it. I think I'll ask you more questions on the go, maybe using the coaching option. Yeah, that's fine. Just send me an email or set up a coaching session and we can talk more details about the journey if you want. Jenny, in Hawaii, everyone's considered beautiful. They embrace all shapes and sizes.
That sounds Hawaii-ish.
That sounds Hawaii-ish. But I feel like that's true in Thailand to a certain degree as well.
Yeah.
And just there are definitely a lot of fat people in Thailand.
Sure.
I mean,
yeah,
like as you said, Durian Rider has given the impression that everyone's skinny. Now there's lots of skinny people, lots of fat people, and lots of people in between. It's just it's not really like, oh my God, everyone's skinny. It's not like that. All right, that's all. I think we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
you guys have an identical diet?
How's
The
it
two of
random?
us? I guess you mean the two of us.
Yeah.
No, not almost.
Almost. From other people's eyes, yes.
Yeah.
But I snack on an apple now and then. You don't eat apples.
Yeah.
You eat cauliflower. I eat broccoli.
Yeah.
It's like there's minor differences.
Minor differences. All right.
Yeah.
That's all. That was a good. I feel like we didn't even touch on the.
Endless more things.
We could actually have an entire live session about each location almost.
Yeah.
But at least we touched upon some of those thoughts, some of those ideas, and you guys remember, and also when this is on YouTube later, for all you other people watching this, if you have a question about either of these locations, feel free to send us an email anytime. We can even, as I said earlier to Paolo, we can set up coaching sessions just specifically focused on giving you tips for a specific location. So we're here if you want advice. And thank you everyone for joining us today. As usual, it's so much fun.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for all the comments. You guys are cool. Bad internet.
Yes. All right. So thanks for all the comments, and yeah, It's dinner time.
Yeah. We'll see you guys in the next hangout. Remember to post a question when we post the next Q&A thing.
Yeah.
And other than that, have a good day.
Yep.
See you around.
Bye.
Bye.